Hey there, welcome back to my channel. This is Spiritual Beings Immortal Experience. I'm Kat Bentley. If you get a chance, hit that like button and click subscribe if you would like to. I am back. I would like to say hello again. I took a moment to take care of a lot of things this year, and I have decided to follow the continual promptings that I keep getting from my Heavenly Father to share my experiences and to do this. Let me just explain. I used to really love to be in the limelight. I used to love attention. I used to like to do lots of selfies and put everything out there on social media about my life and me, as pretty much most people do, right? I stopped doing that, and it's been really hard because I don't do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't enjoy the exposure. I don't enjoy judgment, or just, I don't enjoy that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore, and it's been a struggle for me to want to get on here and to talk to you guys and to share my experiences that I feel I'm supposed to share. And I know better. I know that when you get a prompting from the Spirit to do something, you need to follow it. And I may have started to do this, but I never continued. And here I am again trying to do what I'm feeling prompted to do. And that's about that. So I am back. This is going to be like organic. It's not going to be scripted. I'm just trying to give you what I'm feeling impressed to do. I am not going to be editing a lot of these videos. I'm going to just be talking through. Yes, I'm a woman, so we like to... Have you ever seen that video where the guy's got like these two pillars, and he's like the man, and he's got a head of a man and a head of a woman on two separate pillars, and he goes over to the man, he talks about the man's got little boxes all in his brain, and the boxes don't touch, they don't intermix. You have a box for your car, you have a box for your wife, you have a box for your mother-in-law in the basement. He goes on and he's kind of funny. It's hilarious. If you get a chance, find it. It's so funny. And then he goes over to the woman's side and he goes, the woman's brain is made up of wires, and they're all connected, and they all are related to each other, and their brains are always going, and it's hilarious if you ever get a chance to watch it. So I will be true to my gender. I am a female, I am a woman, and I will be very clear that everything to me is connected. I share my feelings. I don't have compartments of boxes. Everything's connected, everything flows, and I will apologize if I go on a tangent ever, but usually it's because it feels important part of the story. So with that said, I would like to share with you my experience with getting into fostering children. I believe that the Lord gives us special gifts, and He gives us callings in life, and He asks us each to do something different. Yours may be different than mine. Yours may be the same as mine. And the two things mainly in my life, well, three things. Number one is to be a mother. That has been my number one thing. I've always wanted to be one. I've always felt that I needed to be here and take care of my children and raise them and not be anywhere else. Just be home and raise them. Number two, genealogy. You're going to hear me speak about that a lot. I feel the Lord has given me the love and obsession and passion for it, and therefore that is one of the callings that I know I have had personally, or if you want to call spiritual gift that is being developed in my life. The other spiritual calling that I feel that I have gotten from the Lord is to share my experiences with fostering. Amongst other things, those are probably the three main things. And the latter is the one that I want to share with you, how we got into it and why. And I would like to share with you that story. Now, at some other later date, I may go into more detail and share with you special experiences that I've had and how they benefited, but this is going to be an overall, from beginning to today, how it's been going, the progress, the process, what we've gone through, and specifically, I wanted to share a turning point that I had while doing this. Okay, so back up, 2017, we just moved. We'd spent all of our marriage in St. George, Utah. So from 2005, when we got married, to 2017, we lived in Hurricane, Utah. Hello, all you people from Hurricane. I miss you guys, and St. George. But when we moved out here, one of the big things that we felt prompted to do was to foster. And the Lord made known to us through personal revelation that we would be fostering, and that when the time was right, He would give us the prompting to go and get licensed and to start fostering. So I needed time to process. It took me 2 years to go back and forth and wrestle with the Lord over me doing that. I had a ton of fears about bringing traumatized children that have seen the worst of the world and bringing them into my home and possibly exposing my own children to things that I would never want them to be exposed to. You name it, substance abuse, neglect, I don't know, mental issues, major problems with trauma, whatever it is that they've gone through. Specifically, there were some areas, certain types of abuse that I did not feel comfortable bringing into my home. So I wrestled with that certain type of abuse, if you will, molestation and anything of that form, anything like that. And you can think of the worst of that. I'm just trying to be proper with my words here. I was very afraid to bring them into my home, and that was where I kind of drew my line. I can do physical abuse, I can do neglect, I cannot do that form of abuse because I don't want it to come into my home and then be possibly put on my children and exposed to that or anything like that, because usually when it happens to someone, it's acted out upon later on in life. So anyway, that's enough said about that. Wrestled back with the Lord back and forth. Knew I was going to do it. Of course, I'm going to be obedient to the Lord. Finally, in 2019, the fall of 2019, we got the prompting to get the fostering licensing started. We started the licensing. We got licensed. It took a couple months. You got to go through a training. You got to go through tons of paperwork, background checks. It's a whole ordeal. I mean, they want to know everything about you. They call family and friend relatives. They call jobs. They do a thorough investigation on who you are as a person, and they do for a reason. Foster parents specifically, get a really bad name. And I'm very aware of that. I've never thought of a foster parent and gone like, oh, they're amazing. I just remember all the horror stories I've heard of children being abused in foster homes and starved and whatever else that these foster parents did to these kids, right? So we kind of get a bad rap, to be honest. Now I have a different outlook and I love, and anytime I see another one, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love you. And I know exactly what you're going through because I'm one too. And so after we got licensed, we got a prompting that we would be getting 2 little girls. And we got a personal revelation for that. I get my personal revelations, either I get, I keep saying I'm trying not to, I promise. I get impressions, they come into my mind, I get dreams, there's different forms the Lord speaks to me. My husband gets them, he'll get dreams or he'll get impressions or promptings. I go to the temple and I'll get answers. I go and get a blessing from my husband, and then I get answers through the blessing of guidance and strength and understanding of what the Lord wants me to do. Those are my go-tos for anything. I went to all of the above for this, and throughout all these things, we felt really strongly that we were going to be getting 2 girls. Now, if you know how the Lord works, he can be a little sneaky sometimes. And what happened was, we had just gotten licensed and we were like, okay, we're ready. And I remember us being really excited and really eager, and we were like, okay, we're just waiting for the call for them to call us. And what you do is you put into the system, hi, we're new foster parents. This is what we're willing to take. So you say ages, you say level, if you'll take like medical or trauma or certain things that you will take, certain things that you will not take. And you put all your parameters in to the system on what you are willing to take, age-wise and personality, whatever it is, whatever it is with the children you're willing to bring into your home. We did all that. We were very timid at first, and we specifically said we wanted to do, literally, I think we said like 0 to 6 years old, hoping for 0 to 2. Like, we didn't want to do anything older than that, because I was genuinely afraid that once you get into older children, they have more baggage, they have more problems, they're harder to control. When you have little infants to toddlers, they're a lot easier to manage, and you can really help them grow when they're younger. So we wanted to start out, small, if you will, with the chunk of what we were taking on into our family. So, with that said, we got these really strong impressions that we had 2 little girls, little toddler girls. So in our mind, the Lord told us to go and prepare for them. They were coming into our home soon. So, with that confirmation, the Spirit telling us yes, we went out and bought 2 cribs. We made our kids, we made Jonathan go downstairs into the basement. We gave we gave him Jonathan's old room, and we made Anton's old room the new foster room for the cute little 2 little girls we'd get. Put 2 cribs in there, we got it all set up, we were so excited. That's all we did. We didn't buy too much stuff because you just don't know what size or ages they're going to be, so we just got the basics. We just got the cribs and a dresser. And so then a couple months went by. This was probably around October or November, and then December came and we were getting really kind of like anxious about, okay, you told us they were coming, where are they? And we would get phone calls and we'd be offered certain things and we'd be like, no, sorry, we're not willing to take that. They're too old. We've got cribs. We don't have anything bigger than cribs. So they call you anyway, even though you've got your parameters. So then, I'm trying to remember, December 27th, so 2 days after Christmas, we rented the movie. Oh my gosh, I just forgot what it's called. Where's my phone? Hold on a second. It's got Mark Wahlberg in it, and it's a movie about fostering. And it just had come out on DVD. So give me a second. It's right here somewhere. What is it called? Oops, I went too far back. Instant Family. Okay, that's got Mark Wahlberg in it. It had just come out on Redbox, so we rented it. And while we had watched that movie, if you don't know the story, it's about this couple that decided to foster. They didn't have kids of their own. They were kind of like, not later on in life, but just like they weren't brand new newlyweds. They had been married for a few years. And they went to this meet and greet, foster meet and greet. And they met this girl that had this really feisty, cute little attitude, but she was a teenager. And they go, we want her. They connected with her. They fell in love with her. They went back, and then they come to find out that she had like 2 or 3 more siblings that came with her. And they were like, okay, we'll take her. We'll take them all. Let's do this. And so they did, and it's their whole journey. And then it's this wonderful story about how at the end, they end up adopting these kids. And from that movie, afterwards, we felt very strongly that the Lord needed us to broaden our parameters and to be willing to not just take 2 little girls, that he had something else in store for us, and to be open to what he brings us. And we were like, okay, but you told us 2 girls, and you kind of get confused. And then you go to, at least for me, I go through the mindset of, I'm like, okay, I got to figure out what he's trying to do. And so I try to figure everything out, even though I don't know what he's doing. So then that happened December 27th. And then the next day we went to the temple with a prayer in our heart. And we took it to the Lord while we were there. And we said, Lord, okay, we're willing to do whatever you want. We're willing to broaden our horizons. We will do whatever it is you want. If you have 2 girls coming to us in some different form, one now, one later, we're fine. We'll just take whatever you need. If you just take somebody else right now, that's fine. We'll do whatever you need. We get out of the temple. We go back into our car. I don't bring my phone into the temple with me. I leave it out in the car. And so I get in the car, and no sooner we check our voicemails, and I've got a missed phone call from a caseworker. And she's wanting to ask us, she goes, I've got some files on my desk. I would like to see if you'd be willing to foster some of these kids that I've got. Call me back. So we call her back. We're freaking out. We're like, oh my gosh, it's happening. And we get this call, or we call her back, and we say, hi, yeah, what do you have? She goes, well, I've got a few files on my desk. I've got a brother and a sister. The brother's 5, the sister's 4. They are living in the shelter, not a homeless shelter. It's a foster shelter where kids go if there's no placement available for them, for whatever reason. And so we're like, okay, we need to pray about this. We're very, take things to the Lord for big decisions. And so, can we call you right back, we said. And we got off the phone, we said a real quick prayer. We asked the Lord, is this who you wanted us to take? And we got a very strong prompting, yes. So, you see what Heavenly Father did there? He snuck a little boy in there. That's what he did, okay? So, I'm learning from this, but I am learning that that's what he does. So, he dangles the carrot in front of you. I've always wanted girls. I had 2 boys. All I've ever wanted was a little girl. That's all I've ever wanted. Just a cute little girl. Dress up, the whole 9 yards. You want that cute little sweet little girl. You want that little girl you can dress up, and you just want a little buddy. As a mom, that's me. That's what I've always wanted. I didn't get 2 girls. I can't have any more children. I am done. I had a hysterectomy in 2015. I'm done. I can't have any more children of my own. And so I have 2 boys. That's it for me. So anyway, I'm going on a tangent. So then we call her back. Yes, we will take them. She brings them by on the 29th. So 2 days later, she brings them by. I'm trying to think. Yeah. So that was really great. That was the main thing that happened. And then we had them come into our home. And then within 24 to 48 hours of you getting a foster child, you have to take them in and get them evaluated at a doctor's office. They do like an evaluation where they check you physically, and they check you mentally, and they check your hearing and your eyes. They want to see where the kids are at. They want to see what needs they have, what's going on with them, and to see what they need to do. And it's recorded also for your safety, because if anything were, let's say we didn't do that and then we go and they have problems within 2 months, who's to say that those problems didn't start in the home? Does that make sense? Living with us. So you want everything up front, what's going on with them, as much as you can. It's also important. So that's what happened with that. We'll get back to the next part in just a minute.